question here is asking you to solve using Gauss-Jordan, but you don't have to use that. You can use elimination,
Mhm.
you can
Right.
use substitution, you can use your calculator. You don't have to do Gauss-Jordan.
Is
And
Gauss-Jordan the matrix?
it is.
Okay.
It's converting what would be this right here, 2 minus 6, 1, 2, into 1, 0, 0, 1, and then hopefully you have a number over here and a number over here. But again, I don't really recommend that. So you have to tell me if you want us to go through and do it that way for this. It's especially slow for 3x3s, which is coming up in question 3. So you have to tell me what you want. I'll do whatever you want.
Elimination is probably the easiest.
Okay. So to eliminate here, you're just going to add the two equations. When you add them up, you get 2y equals 4, divide by 2, so y equals 2. And then you substitute that back in, so you got 6x plus 2 equals 2. If you subtract 2 from both sides, you have 6x equals 0. Divide by 6, so x equals 0 for that one. And you can see that it does work for equation 2 if you substitute the numbers in. Negative 6 times 0 plus 2 does still equal 2. All right. So on to the next question here. Come on. Can't get the, there we go. Okay. Get the screen to move. We've got our new question in. Okay. So again, this is a system where if you wanted to solve it using elimination, you have to get rid of the variables here. So you got, I'm going to suggest getting rid of x. We're going to multiply the top equation by -2. So that's -8x plus 6y equals -6. I'm multiplying every single term by -2, writing the second equation below it. Okay. And this is our first sort of exception. You get 0 equals 0.
Mhm.
This means that there are infinite solutions. This means that it's dependent. If you get 0 equals a number that's not 0, that means there are no solutions,
Okay.
which is not the case here. So it says
So
express your answers.
it's technically like the same line because.
Yes, these are exactly the same line.
Okay.
So just one on top of the other. So the way we did it last time in this help is we said x comma, and then you have to solve for y, one of the equations. So I'll just grab that first equation, 4x minus 3y equals 3. So to solve for y, I'm going to add 3y, and then I'm going to subtract 3. So you get 4x minus 3 equals 3y. Divide both sides by 3 and just swap sides. So you get y equals 4x minus 3 over 3. And that's what goes into this other position here.
Okay.
So it's x comma 4x minus 3 over 3. All right, so the next question is a 3x3, and I mean, it's not too bad. I'm going to snip it in here. So this one, I mean, I would almost just tell you to put it in your calculator as a matrix, and then use RREF like we did last time. The question does lend itself to like eliminating x by multiplying, like combining equation 1 and equation 3, and then equation 2 and equation 3. But you know, that's it's totally up to you. If you want us to do elimination, or we'll use a matrix and a calculator, you tell me.
Yeah, matrix is fine.
Okay, so grab your calculator This has 3 rows and 4 columns.
Okay.
And the only real places where you can run into issues is if you don't enter it exactly as you see. I've made that mistake before, and you get some odd answers. And then you want to use RREF to solve it here. So I'm going to enter it into my calculator, and we'll compare answers.
Five.
Yep, I got
All of them?
5 for all of them. 5, 5, and 5.
Mhm.
All right, the next question has some fractions in it. I'm going to snip that question in. We're up to question 4. You can solve in your calculator using the fractions, of course. It's no big deal. You just have to enter them incorrectly. This is 2 rows and 3 columns. So it'd be 2, 5, and 1, -1, -5 halves, or you could say -2.5 and then -5 halves over here. I'm entering this into my calculator and see if we get the same thing here. So when you get to where you've got this in your calculator and you do the RREF, you should get something like this.
Yep, I got that.
So this last line here, this means 0 equals a number. This means there's no solution.
Okay.
And not to be confused with 0 equals 0. So you have to be very, very clear like what the difference is, especially when you have your calculator, because you have to make sure you entered it in correctly and all that stuff.
So is what is the top one then?
The top one is it doesn't give you any information. It's always the last line that you're looking at.
Oh.
Okay. If you multiply the bottom equation by -2, what you're going to get, I'll write the top equation above it. You're going to get 2x plus 5y equals 5. So there ends up being no solution when these are different, but these are the same.
Mhm. Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah. Okay, 5 is a great example of what you might see on an exam because it's very deceptive. And your instructors know this. They know that if you've been using online calculators, you might not be paying attention here. So what you'll see is that there's 3 equations here, but only 2 variables. And you might think, well, how do I do this? Well, it's likely that 2 of these equations are the same, or you still and you or there's something weird going on here, or it might work out. But if you haven't done this before, you might be confused. Now there's 3 rows this time and 3 columns, and that's totally okay. So we got 1, 1, 1, 4 minus 1, 0, 1 minus 19 minus 15. So do the same thing, and you can still use the RREF command. So you should get a row of zeros. The last row should be all zeros. And this if you go based on what we already said, you might think that this means that there's infinite solutions, but you actually just ignore the last line and focus on the top two rows here.
Mhm.
And this tells you that x is 0.2 and y is 0.8.
Okay.
So when you get a whole row of zeros, but there's more rows than you have equations, you can just ignore it. So this would be one of those good ones to have in your notes just in case you get this question, because then you'll know right away. Okay, just ignore that last line and get
Mhm.
the answer. So, all right. All right, so we're up to 6. The rest of these can be solved with your calculator, which is what I would recommend.
Mhm.
Can I move to the other section?
Yeah, with the rest of them can be just be solved with the matrix.
Yes.
Okay.
Some of them might have no solution though, or some like we can come back, but that it's very repetitive, obviously, at this
Right.
point. So let me move to 4.3. Hopefully there is a new topic to consider. Great, story problems. All right, good. This is good because these are these are more challenging to do. All right. You own a hamburger franchise and are planning to shut down. Okay, but you're left with 13 buns, 16 defrosted patties, and 12 open cheese slices. Okay, so rather than throw them out, you plan to sell at a discount. Plain burgers each require one patty, one bun. Double cheeseburgers require two beef patties, one bun, and two slices of cheese. And regular cheeseburgers require one beef patty, one bun, and one slice of cheese. How much of each should you make? Okay. Um, so you have a buns equation,
Mhm.
and your variables, like they actually give you your variables right here. That I really need to emphasize that X is the number of plain burgers, Y is the number of cheeseburgers, doubles, and Z is the number of regulars. And you have a buns equation, you have a patties equation, and you have a cheese equation. So the plain burgers, X, they're one beef patty, so one X. I'm sorry, plain burgers each require. I got so there's X, one bun, and no cheese. So you could say 0x if you wanted. Um, Double cheeseburgers, that's Y. Two patties, that's 2Y. One bun, 1Y. Two slices of cheese. Regular cheeseburgers require one patty, so that's 1Z. One bun, that's 1Z. And one slice of cheese. So you have 13 buns, 16 patties, and 12 cheese slices. So the mistake would be like trying to make X buns and Y patties and so on. The
Right.
variables are generally, or the boxes are generally the variables.
Okay.
So I'm going to enter this into the calculator and see what we get. Another kind of check here is if you get a weird answer, that means you probably either wrote the equation wrong or entered it wrong. Few more possible mistakes, but um, so the reason I put the 0 in there is because it helps to remind, okay, yeah, I got to enter it into the calculator. So the answer I get here is 4, 3, and 6.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, wow, you get 20 submissions.
Last semester I got like 100.
Yeah, there's certain problems where you actually can just enter the answers on long enough and you will eventually get it.
Mhm.
Not great for learning, but okay. Boy, there's a lot of reading here. So there's information that isn't relevant, but maybe we do have to read all of this. Okay. All right. I guess we do. So this is X, this is Y, and this is Z. The math professors, okay, that's the first equation, first sentence gives you that information. They're closet jocks. The society donated twice as much to the New York Jets as the MPBF. So that means that Z, which is the New York Jets, is 2 times X. But they also donated equal amounts to the first two funds. So that's telling you that X equals Y. For every $1 it gave to the MBPF, it decided to keep $1 for itself. For every $1 it gave to the SCN, it kept $2. For every dollar to the Jets, it also kept $2. So they gained they gained $700. Okay. Trying to come up with an equation here for this amount that it increased. So does your, I'm gonna have to look here. Do they don't give you a show? They don't give you practice another.
Yeah, there's practice another.
All right. So the cheat here, and that's not really not the right word. The fact that these two are the same, and we know that all three have to add up to 700 really helps here. So we know that, and that has to do with this information here also. This question is very confusing. But if this is 350, this is 175 and 175. You can see that these two are the same, and this last one is double the first one.
Okay.
But I don't like that explanation. So I would encourage you to ask your instructor to clarify this one potentially, unless you think But here's the thing: if it's on the test, it'll be exactly these numbers. Although this is not correct either. Sorry here. Let's just look at this one more time. Yeah, let's come back to this one because I'm not doing a good job of explaining this.
Okay.
And this is pretty confusing. For every $1 for itself, it gave $1 to SCN. It kept $2 for every $1 to the Jets. So it gets 1x. It kept 2x. It also kept 2y, and that went up to 700 here. So let's see if we can work with that. So, or I'm sorry. So this one comes from here. This kept 2 comes from there, and kept 2 comes from that's Z. So it's 1x plus 2y plus 2z equals 700. Okay, so we know that z is 2x, so that's 2 times 2x. We know that y is really x, that's 2 times x, and we have a 1x here. So we've got 3x, we got 7x equals 700. So it looks like x equals 100. We know that x equals y, so y is 100. And we know that z is 2 times x. That's what it's set up in one of these other equations. So that's 200 here. So let me check those because the first first set of numbers didn't work, which I was totally shocked at. So this does work.
Okay.
So you have to if you look at this, if you look at this again in your notes, you have to remember that what they keep goes into the equation, and then you substitute the other values in there. All right. Okay, so snipping in question 3. It's good that we switched over. These are much more challenging. All right, so again, sorcerers is going to be X, trolls is going to be Y, and orcs is going to be Z. All right, so he has 470 victims that consist of evil, sorcerers, trolls, and orcs. Sword. Okay, so it's like X plus Y plus Z equals 470. And he is slain with a total of 540 mighty thrusts, evil sorcerers and trolls each requiring 2 thrusts to the chest. I despise trolls 6 times as much as I despise evil sorcerers.
It's
Okay.
weird.
This is weird. Okay. Trolls. So trolls are Y. Y is 6x. That's what the 6 times means. And accordingly, 6 times as many trolls as evil sorcerers has fallen. So sorcerers has fallen to his sword. Okay, so they're giving you, it's like they're giving you another equation with, he's slain it with a total of thrust of his sword, evil sorcerers and trolls each. So this, like, there's a sword equation. God, this is weird. Okay, there's a sword equation, and it's like sorcerers is X, and trolls is Y, and those equal 540. 2 thrust the chest, in each which requiring 1 thrust to the neck. So okay, so that's like saying 2x for sorcerers. Trolls is 2y because that's the 2 thrusts there, and orcs is plus 1z. Yeah. Okay. So let me just try to summarize. The total of 470 victims consists of sorcerers, trolls, and orcs. That's this equation right here. X plus Y plus Z, 470. Then he says, okay, 540 mighty thrusts of a sword. That's where this number comes in over here. The sorcerers, X, they require 2 thrusts. That's 2x. The trolls are Y. They require 2 thrusts also. Orcs are Z. They require 1 thrust. So 2x plus 2y plus 1z equals 540. And then we've got this relationship here where it says he trolls, which are Y, are 6 times sorcerers. So you have 3 equations here: X plus Y plus Z equals 470. 2x plus 2y plus 1z equals 540. And then you have this last equation, but you really need to get x and y on one side. So it's minus 6x plus 1y equals 0. Okay. And from here, you can then create your system, or you've got your system and you can enter it into your calculator. So I'm going to do that now, and hopefully we get a number that's super reasonable. So I get 10, 60, and 400.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try that, and I hope that was clearer the more we got into it.
Mm.
You probably get some questions like this, so you want to be prepared to answer them. These are not your typical high school problems where you sort of just have they all sort of read the same. These are somewhat creative,
Yeah.
I guess. Maybe if you're into these games, they're
Nope.
not as interesting. I don't know. I okay. So cheesy cream core, super smooth and sons, and bagels best friends co. Um, a bagel store orders cream cheese from 3 suppliers. Okay, 1 month. The total order of cream cheese came to 100 tons. So that's x plus y plus z equals 100. That's kind of each sentence is an equation. The costs were 80, 50, and 65 per ton. So that's 80x plus 50y plus 65z equals 6755. The store ordered the same amount from CCC and BBF. So that means that x equals z. This one I think was much clearer
Yeah.
to explain. So it's 111 100 80 50 65 6755. The z is subtracted, so you get 1 0 minus 1 0, because this becomes x 1x plus 0y minus 1z equals 0. And this is what you're going to put into the calculator here. All right, so the answer here that I get is 39, 22, and 39. These are all really nice numbers, whole numbers. So I would just keep a mental note of that you should get some numbers that are nice.
Okay. Yeah, I got
Um,
that.
so far, nothing really weird yet.
Mhm.
Okay, number 5. Okay, so rose oil, again, I'm just going to write X, Y, and Z. Oil of fermented prunes, that's weird. Y, alcohol, Z. Okay. Uh, the fancy French perfume company recently had its secret formula divulged. It turns out that it was using as the 3 ingredients. Okay, so again, it gives you X, Y, and Z there, or Z there. Moreover, each 34-ounce econo-size bottle contained 8 more ounces of alcohol than oil of fermented prunes. So that's an equation. Okay, each 34-ounce econo-size bottle contained 8 more ounces of alcohol. So the alcohol is Z. Z is equal to 8 more ounces of Y. But it sounds like those together have to add up to 34. Which is weird because like that almost tells you what the values are.
Mhm.
It's like saying like this is if these have to add up to 34, these two things over here, you can just sort of guess some numbers because they got to be eight apart. Like what do I want to say here? 22, 21, and 13. So the the Y is 13 and the alcohol is 21. So they limit how much information you get, and said that the amount of alcohol was equal to the combined volume of the other 2 ingredients. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, so I got to read this again because there's each. Okay, the amount of alcohol Z was equal to the other 2 ingredients. Okay, so that's, let me start. Sometimes I just want to start over on these questions. All right, so we know that z is equal to x plus y. And we know that, I think it's saying that all three of them together add up to 34 ounces.
Mhm.
I guess that's what we're supposed to interpret that. It seemed like it was blended this next one, but it says 8 more ounces of alcohol than oil of fermented prunes. So fermented prunes Y is 8 more than Z. I don't know. So that I mean, this is 3 equations, 3 unknowns. This is enough here to do this. So z is x plus y. So we can say x plus y plus x plus y equals 34. That's taking that equation down there.
Yeah.
So that's 2x plus 2y equals 34. So x plus y has to equal 17. Um, hmm. How much of each? There's something not right here. 34-ounce bottle, 8 more ounces of alcohol than oil of fermented. 8 more ounces of alcohol than oil of fermented fumes. So y is 8 more. Maybe I've got this backwards. Z equals y plus 8. Hmm. So I think, I mean, I hate doing this, but I think the answer is 8, 9, 17, or it's 9, 8, 17.
Okay.
Just in the sake of time, I want to move on to the next question. If you really need the answer to this, I can always come back and get that for you. But
Okay.
the I'm missing something here because y is 8 plus z, which isn't right. It should be z. I think this is really z equals y plus 8, which would make this one correct. Do you want me to try that?
Sure.
Okay. It is correct. Okay. It doesn't help. Doesn't help. Okay. Red Bookstore wants to ship books. Oh, wow. There's 4 variables. Okay. From its warehouse in Brooklyn and Queens to its stores, one on Long Island, one in Manhattan. Its warehouse in Brooklyn has 1,000 books, and its warehouse in Queens has 2,000 books. Each store orders 1,500 books. It costs $5 to ship from Brooklyn to Long Island and $1 to ship from Brooklyn to Manhattan. It costs $4 to ship each book from Queens to Long Island and $2 to ship each book from Queens to Manhattan. That's their transportation budget. Okay. Wow. Okay. So the each store orders 1,500 books. It costs $5 to ship each book from Brooklyn to Long Island. So that's X. So 5X is the cost to go from Brooklyn to Long Island. $1 to ship each book from Brooklyn to Manhattan. That's Y plus 1Y. $4 to ship each book from Queens to Long Island. That's Z. So that's 4Z. And $2 to ship each book from Queens to Manhattan. We'll call that W plus 2W. And that's supposed to equal 9,020. So now we have to get some more information. Its warehouse in Brooklyn has 1,000 books, and its warehouse in Queens has 2,000. Okay. Each store orders 1,500 books. Okay. So the setting up these equations is we got 4 variables. That means we've got 4 equations to be able to do this. Brooklyn warehouse in Brooklyn has 1,000 books, and its warehouse in Queens is 2,000. X plus Y. Now X plus Z. Okay, so the fact that it has 1,000 books in its warehouse in Brooklyn, that means that X plus Y has to equal 1,000. And similarly in Queens, Z plus W has to equal 2,000. Each store orders 1,500 books. So Long Island has to get 1,500 books to it. So X plus Z, the books from Brooklyn or Queens to Long Island, that has to be 1,500. And to Manhattan, Y plus W has to equal 1,500 as well. This is an example of a problem where all the equations are the same in your exam except for this one up here. So I'm gonna check an online resource because I can't believe that this is what they want you to do. Let me get that plugged in here real quick. All right, so it does look like this is correct. So we just have to get this into a calculator. So let me do that now. It's just a big matrix. Okay, so here is the answer that I get here. I get, when you reduce this, X is 510. This actually works out pretty nicely. 490, 990, and 1010. And I just used the calculator. I didn't, nothing else for that. So I would definitely get these equations down like in your notes, and because you said you could keep those would be worth having.
Okay.
Is there a way of doing this for less money? I have no idea. Yes. So apparently the answer is yes.
Okay.
So, but if on a test, I mean, that's 2.5 points on this question. So definitely would want to do that. So 7 is really similar. Yeah, I think we can get both of these done. 7. I don't, these are really obscure, but I mean, what do I know? You probably get this on your test. Okay, Tucson to Honolulu, that's X. Tucson to Venice Beach, that's Y. Toronto to Honolulu, that's Z. And Toronto to Venice Beach is W. So I'm guessing this is really, really similar. Like it says Tucson to Honolulu is $10. Tucson to Venice Beach is $5. Toronto to Honolulu is $20. And then this last one here. And that's your transportation budget. So it's 10X, that's from here, plus 5Y plus 20Z plus 10W equals 10,300. Now we got to pour through the rest of it and see what's going on here. So the Tucson plant, while operating at full capacity, can manufacture 620 Gladiator boards per week. So that means that X plus Y is 620. The Toronto plant can only produce 410, so that's Z plus W equals 410. The outlet in Honolulu orders 500. That's X plus Z to get that. X plus Z is 500. In the Venice Beach, that's the other variables, Y plus W is 530. So you have an extra equation here, but I would just enter them all in. You should get a row of zeros when you're done. That's what we got in the last problem. So it takes a bit of time to enter it, but that's what we're going to do here. 20, 10.
Is it 5 times 5?
What is that?
Is it 5 times 5?
For I'm sorry. Oh yeah. It's yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, and then there's 5 columns. Yes, 5. Sorry, I didn't understand what you're asking, but got it. So shockingly, the numbers work out. 380, 240, 120, and 290. So I'm going to enter those numbers in. The other questions there, you don't really have enough information to be able to answer them. This is where you definitely want to just remember what the answers are for the yes and no's, or write them down, because they're going to be the same each time.
Okay.
And it looks like they are both yes.
Okay.
And I don't know how you wouldn't know that. Well, okay, that row of zeros, it would tell you that, I guess, is what they're trying to get you to see. All right, let's see, we've got last problem here. All right, the exercise is based on the following information. So they're giving you some information: M, C, R, and H. So there's 4 variables here, but there's 5 here: M, C, R, D, H. Oh, they're telling you M is 108. Okay, that's what's key here. They're telling you that M is 108. So that reduces this to 4 variables and 4 equations. M, C, and D, and then R is 3, and then H is 4. So you need the same number of equations as variables, which you have here. So the only sort of challenge here is getting this into the right the right order. I usually do alphabetical order, but because it's C, R, D, H, probably going to follow that convention here. And that means you have to solve all these equations or you need to get everything on the left-hand side variable wise. So this is like, the first one is 1C plus 1D equals 108. That's M. The second equation, C equals 0.2D. If I move that left, I got 1C minus 0.2D equals 0.
Mhm.
The last, the R there, that's the R minus 0.1D. So it's 1R minus 0.1D equals 0. And then this H, so that's a little bit weird. You're going to move the H to the right. So it becomes R plus C minus H equals 0. So that's 1R, 1C minus 1H equals 0. So there's a lot of zeros in this matrix to enter. The answer, though, is only asking about R, which is going to be it's going to be in the second row of your answer.
Okay.
But if you enter this differently into your calculator, like if you don't use my convention for the order to enter in it, it could be in a different position altogether. All right, entering this in here. A lot of zeros. 0, 1. That's a 0.1 there. Okay, so it works out. C ends up being 18, R ends up being 9, D ends up being 90, and H ends up being 27. So I believe it's looking for 9. Let me enter that in, and that will probably close out our lesson for today. All right, you got it. So I hope this was helpful. I'll send out the notes. This might be the one time I really emphasize looking at the screen recording or listening to this again, and hopefully it's not too awful to listen to. But thanks again for scheduling, and let me know when you want me to help again. I'll be available.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye now.
Bye.